All right, guys, doing an update. Just into the end of the close here. It's Tuesday the 28th. Man, it was just a slow morning. You had a little bit of a move with the 15-minute and 30-minute cycle and equities into the close, which was I was able to make a little bit of money, day trade stuff. But I want to just touch on a couple pairs trades. I want to go over some global macro stuff. Obviously, the dollar's been in focus, this bearish move. The metals kind of on the back of that are doing well, gold and silver. I want to do an update there. And then kind of what to look for on the equity side or as far as risk. And I sold some vol late in the day. I want to talk about that and just kind of how I'm feeling about whether or not we're slowly maybe starting to get closer to a risk off move coming into August, September, and where we break. But I wanted to just mention, guys, we do a lot of pairs trade, and I think it's important to realize that so many traders, they just want to pick a winner and be on one side of the market, and they just hope and pray that whatever it is that they buy, they get aggressive on, that it just continues to go in their favor. And that's just it's just a tough way to trade. You're not timing anything. It's much easier to have both sides of the market, long, short, different asset classes, trade them off each other, work your positions. And I realize that not everybody can have a huge book and lots of different plays, but this is just a simple example of, on the left-hand side here, I have NASDAQ versus the Russell. And you can see the outperformance of tech. And the Russell doesn't move as much as the NASDAQ, but this is even taking into account short 3 contracts being long 1. So if you were to be bullish here, you'd be buyer of the NASDAQ, and then you'd be a seller of the Russell. And so you can see this has just been the play. And there's lots of opportunities in here. You can kind of drill down when you get to the lower spots. We were kind of low. I think that was Friday or Monday maybe. Just kind of nibbling on the NASDAQ. And then on these rallies, like today, sold the Russell and then had a chance to cover, or sold the Russell yesterday. I'll show you the chart in a second. And then look at the difference between the Russell and the S&P. So here you can see how weak the Russell is relative to S&Ps. This is a one-on-one basis. So if you were just shorting the Russell, picking your spots in S&Ps, and even if you're just one-to-one holding that, it's been a good trade. So that's the kind of stuff that we do intraday. Then I'm also doing that around the core positions. And so you can see here, you get high within the range, selling the Russell, low in the range, covering the Russell. This was late in the day yesterday, put a piece back off after covering on the lows, covered today, and then I'm going home a couple contracts short. And then S&Ps, I did not buy here. It's not a bad place to add back, especially if I would have came out of some of my futures here into the high at the same time I was selling the Russell. But I didn't, based on some of the other stuff I had in the book, I just wanted to keep a little bit of a long in S&P. And I was not long the NASDAQ, and then I got back long that today. If you can see that. It wasn't the greatest timing, but again, I just wanted to have something on. I didn't have a lot of Amazon on. That's one of the positions we like on the long side. So I was okay with being a little bit more aggressive NASDAQ kind of after this initial cycle down on the hourly. But yeah, so that's kind of just what we're doing in our live room and some different things. And guys, I do want to just touch on, before I hit on the global macro and where these pivot points are. I've had I'm starting a new CycleEdge. I'm calling it CycleEdge 2.0. And it's basically like our flagship membership. And the reason being is just because I've been working on a lot of new analysis and beginning covering some of the institutional guys in a different way. And I'm going to include some of what I'm doing there in this new CycleEdge room. And so basically what it's going to include now is, if you come here to memberships, you come to CycleEdge, get access. I used to be $100, $150 a month. And now there's a lot of competitors that'll have a trading room and guys that actually know what they're doing, not just guys that are just in there talking about news. I mean, guys like over at T3 that run real shops that have, real desks, real prop traders. They're still charging $150 a month, guys. And I did that for all the asset classes, swing trades, long-term trades. I mean, it's constant. It's just a lot of work. And then some of you have included, if you did coaching or you did mentorship with me, or you even bought some of the bigger programs, that included CycleEdge for a year or 6 months. But again, that's because the whole thing was $150. So now this new room is only $250 for the year. If some of you paid the last CycleEdge $100 this month, you can start next month. You can get in here, but pay next month. You guys, if you want to stay in the old room, that's fine, but it's just not going to have nearly as much analysis. And then I'm going to do a call every morning. Most mornings we're going to get on early, do a 30-minute rundown, top down, like I do with the mentorship program. But it's just going to give you quick, like, where's the edges, where's the opportunities. Like this morning it was, all right, well, last night I would have been in the CycleEdge 2.0 and just saying, hey, you guys need to be selling up here, silver. And then this morning we came in and you had an opportunity to rebuy gold and silver. Talked about where the edges were and equities. And then you're going to get the analysis. Weekly, I'll have pivots, the reversals, positioning updates to help you guys with, if some of you want to construct, like, I mean, if you just long 1 or 2 contracts on the NASDAQ, you would have made so much money this last quarter, the last 2 quarters. And so helping you guys just stay with a position like that, how to hedge it. It's just going to be a lot more. And this is going to be the same way that I cover a lot of the institutional guys. So this is going to be $250 a year. And I'll put out some videos on this as reminders, but it's going to be a separate room. And I think it's a great deal. So, I mean, you can't beat it. It used to be $1,200 a year to be a part of just the CycleEdge, kind of the older product. So I think it's a no-brainer. And kind of, we'll see who's serious. I mean, I probably did $6,000 last night on our silver call that I made 2 days ago. If you don't think 250 is worth it, then, I don't really want to be working with people inside of that chat. To me, it's just, you're not serious. But anyway, so there's that. And then I'll just mention one other last thing. If you go to, see, I'm going to be putting, for the CycleEdge guys too, this is going to be our new membership. So I'm going to be putting the analysis videos, any recordings, that's going to all be here. It's going to be much different than the just the old chat. And then, man, my throat's dry. And then I still guys, I'm doing this through July or maybe the next 2 weeks. Before we roll into the third quarter, this is the last chance I'm going to be giving all the programs away. It's just a crazy discount. I have about 10, 15 grand of value between the options program, the prop program, the proprietary institutional course that's 9 hours, the Forex course, the intro to options course, the options videos, courses, all that stuff is about 15 grand worth. And I'm giving you access to the options team, I'm giving you access to the prop program where we're trading every day. I help you guys work through to get funded if you want through Top Step. I've gone through the whole process, approved you can do it. I work with you on that. But any other coaching you want, that's the time where you can work with me. I mean, you got my attention. If you have a trade, you got your ass kicked in Tesla, you want to talk about it, I'll teach you how to journal your trades, go through the model, all that stuff. I mean, that's just like, I mean, it's not even like an 8-week program. It's like the entire year, 12 months, you have access to me. So that amount of time is unbelievable. I've got guys that pay me 15 grand a month, swaps traders at Citi, for that type of one-on-one action. So anyway, it's now, I had it at 2,500 bucks, guys. I just dropped it another 1,000. My plan was to do it through the end of July. I wanted to put this out over the weekend, so maybe I'll do it a couple days just so everybody has a chance to see it. But take advantage of that. Go to jenkinscm.com. It's under the memberships, and then it's where the prop program button used to be. This is the page, right? The prop program used to be 5 grand. You're getting everything now. The prop program was just 5 grand. Now you're getting everything, $14.99. I'm going to email it out. I'm going to be talking about it. And yeah, so then I think this is what's important going into tomorrow. There's a lot of pivots here. Anytime a market's on fire, like we've been on Amazon, it's just basically the NASDAQ, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. The pivot we put in on the 16th, we rallied. You couldn't get back to the high. Basically, on the closing level, it was a double top. If you look at the open at the top of the candle and exclude the wick. But either way, what matters is you did not make a higher high. That's the first sign. Every time we've made a higher low, we've basically moved to a higher high. This is the first time that that's really happened. First sign a market might be turning. Then you need to focus on the higher lows. That happens to be right here around, call it 29 and a quarter on Amazon, call it 2,900. You start to close below that, daily closes below that, hourly, 4-hour closes below that, then daily closes. That's going to set up for a move back to the bands, most likely at least. And then if you don't hold that, you get the bigger drop. So that's what I care about there. I'm watching that on Amazon. There's different things you can do with that. Like if you're on the options team, you can talk about how you want to buy puts to protect on that. You don't really necessarily have to do it when it breaks. You buy a few before it breaks, then you add to those puts. That can really help with your longs. You can be selling calls at the same time to kind of finance the puts. I can't really explain that in the video, but that's stuff you can work on in the options team. Again, the options team used to be 3,500 bucks. Now you get to be part of that program, 1,500 bucks. So NASDAQ, here's the level, 10,290. It's this point right here. All right, that breaks your regression channel. Again, that's going to give you the move to 10,000. I would say even to the bands is this low right here from the end of June. That's what matters. We're starting to make lower highs. I did sell the VIX this morning, or not this morning, this afternoon in the close. Just because, I mean, I have a Russell short on. I have some VIX calls. We're not exactly breaking out. We haven't broken down like these levels I'm talking about. So just how slow today was, I mean, we dropped pretty easily over a point on vol. And then that's like 2,600. I mean, I think I pulled out like 1,600 bucks, 200 bucks on short vol today just because it was so slow. So this is part of my vol strategy. I do a lot of options around that. But I wanted to say directionally that I'm not nervous about it, but we're starting to put in higher lows on the VIX also. So if I sell vol here and it starts to break higher, I have calls at 26, 27, 28 strike. So that kind of helps me make some money there while I'm kind of under the water on the vol. And then I wouldn't reshort any futures till much higher, like 28, 29, 30 on the VIX front, and then maybe scale into another contract or two. But during that type of risk off move, there'll be opportunity to short the Russell on more. Like I said, make some money on the VIX. I have a couple S&P puts I would realize. I'm short Tesla. So all your shorts are kind of work in that environment. And then you kind of reset short vol higher depending on how the market breaks down. But that's kind of what I'm going to be watching into tomorrow is whether or not vol fails here, kind of at the bands. And then when we look at S&Ps, you can notice we're right here at pi. He actually had some really nice intraday failures. Pi this morning, right here. Short cover, short cover, short cover. But on the intermediate term, this hourly is going to be pretty important here at Pi. We kind of held it last week, had a little bit of a rally. And again, this is a lower high relative to the 32.84 high. So again, the bulls seem a little bit tired. We take out these lows right here. You should probably see vol pick up. And very, very important level on the daily chart. Again, you break that, there's plenty of room to go back to the 200 or the pi line on the 4-hour. That would set you back clearly below the 8 on the daily, and then getting back to all these lows here from kind of the middle of July. It's the 3100 strike is what probably the vol, the options guys, the gamma guys, that's the strike that'll matter in S&Ps. But again, no bear market until we've had plenty of these setbacks. You break the 8, you move the bands, you struggle, make some lower highs, you retest the bands, and then we're right back up. So until we break, you got pi right down here around 3,000. The bands are right around. There's plenty of support in here for the market to again make a higher low. So we're not in like a huge risk off mode just yet. That's what I care about. On the upside, you stay long your Amazon, you stay long your NASDAQ, you'll get plenty of opportunities if the momentum picks up to intraday, get long, day trade, swing trade. You know, you sell vol. If we're back higher tomorrow, great. You know, I'll cover some vol down where I did today. So that's the equity trade. I mean, it's all the metals is just all about the dollar. I mean, we had the dollar going up and gold going up, and then this move we've had down, and the dollar has just pushed gold. That's what you really needed to get the higher octane. You know, rates aren't rising. We don't have any real signs of inflation. Commodities are trading better, but it's nothing like. I mean, gold's just in a bull market. And now we want to see where the weekly closes are. That red line I have drawn is the old highs. So we're through it intraday. Let's see if we can close the week up here. I've been buying calls at the 2000 strike back on a couple of these buy signals. And I'm just kind of riding those. Any pullback, I'm just going to be buying futures. So I like to be kind of, when we get overextended, I like to be long the calls because I don't have a huge amount of downside. Can only lose so much. Versus the futures, you could be down hard, and those are a higher delta. So I wait for the pullback to buy the futures. I'll do the same thing on silver. We had nice sales last night, right into 26. I was telling guys to sell the team. I wasn't really paying attention on the pullback in London, but that would have been a great buy to buy back there. I don't think you need to be in a hurry on silver. I mean, we held the 8, makes sense. You could still do for this cycle to come back down. I was kind of eyeing 2021 to start to work into like futures. Right now, I'm just keeping the core long via just a few call spreads. Not much to say in bonds, even though they came back pretty good today. 10s did. I talked to the team about my strategy there, so I'm not going to touch on it right now. Covered kind of the dollar. You know, the only other thing you guys could do if you're really long gold or silver and it's been working, you can short the euro here small, be a little bit contrarian. That's a little bit of a hedge. That way, if the euro comes down, assuming the dollar rallies, gold and silver come off a little bit, you can make a little bit of money on your euro short, and then you put it back on, roll that into back long more gold, etc. But that's it, guys. Come join the team. I'm going to be sending messages out. I want to get more organized. That room's been free for a while, and I'm just not going to do it. The amount of time that's spent and the amount of good calls and the model, I'm not going to do it for free anymore. And I want to build a tighter team that's a little bit more serious. But for $250, guys, that's going to be $500 for the year at some point. So I'll just hop on now, take advantage of it, start up that new members room, the website, and start kind of getting in the groove a little bit more as we go into the quarter here every morning together. And then like some of these weekly updates on Sunday night. All right. Hope you guys have a great evening. I'll see some of you in the morning.